I'm going to quickly get into the discussion. Tovna Walte, he's a research scholar. He joins me from the University of Hyderabad. Now, Tovna, it's good to have you on the telecast. You've heard it from the rest of the panelists. And I'm trying to gauge from you what your perception has been all this while over the violence that has gone on for way too long, a month. A number of innocent lives have been lost. And how can we quell this violence and arson in the state of Manipur?
Well, let me start off with the most recent development that has taken place on yesterday, that is 30th of this month. The Union Minister Amit Shah ji came and visited Lamka and the other places in Manipur, and he had asked us to maintain peace for 15 days. Now, when even as the meeting went on, our leaders, after the tribal CSO leaders, after the meeting was over, they told us the response that we will maintain peace, we will not attack, but we will if our villages are attacked by miscreants, by the Tengol Arambai and the Meitei Lipun, then we will have to defend ourselves, and for that we need the help of the army. And in that, when that happened, even as the meeting went on, the meeting happened around 2 p.m. yesterday, and even as the meeting was going on, around 1:40 a.m., two Kukizau villages, Mapho village and Nongdam village in Kangpokpi district, were being attacked. Now, even as the meeting was going on, our people were being attacked. Now, if that is the situation that we're faced with, then a call for peace must, as Pathang has mentioned, must be enforced by the central armed forces, because the state forces cannot be trusted. Now, the day before that, the day on 28th and 29th of May, we heard the news of more than 1,500 arms being looted. It's been called looted. In the garb of looting, it was being distributed to Meitei miscreants, militants, ex-militants. Now it has already come out in the news that the Tengol Arambai and even the Meitei Lipun are members of ex-valley-based insurgent groups who have surrendered and have supposedly reintegrated themselves into society. But then now we're getting to find out that they have been rather active in the radicalization of the valley society, which has led to this amount of hatred that has built up for the tribal, especially for the Kukizau communities here in Manipur.
Okay.
Now, I think I want to highlight a very important difference in the nature of violence that is taking place in Manipur as of now. We have always talked about the structural imbalance, the structural violence that we talked about in terms of all the economic and educational and political institutions, administrative institutions being located in the Imphal Valley. Now, that is one aspect that cannot be argued against, because that is true and that is there for everyone else to see. But I want to highlight the symbolic nature of violence that is being perpetrated against the tribals, against the Kukizau community in Manipur. Now, if you look at an ethnic clash happens when two ethnic communities wage war against one another, basically. But what happened on 3rd, 4th, and 5th May cannot be called an ethnic clash. It was a state-induced pogrom. It was an ethnic cleansing of the entire Imphal Valley of the Kukizau communities. And that is something that we need to know, that we must understand. An ethnic clash takes place. Ethnic clash takes place when two sides fight against each other.
How did it all start? Because let's go back, because there was the High Court order that came out saying that there needs to be scheduled tribe status that needs to be given to the Meitei community. What are your thoughts on it? Why did the state of Manipur end up erupting after the High Court order?
Yes, let me put it this way, ma'am. The ST demand amongst the Meiteis has been going on for more than a decade, I think, and so also has been the demand for autonomous territorial council amongst the Kukizau people in Manipur as well. So now I want to highlight, these are what I have mentioned as before, structural imbalances, the structural problems that we have had. But I think what is more pertinent to the current issue is that when the All Tribal Student Union of Manipur called for a rally, for a tribal solidarity rally with the motto "Come, let us reason together," because we tribals found the ST demand by the Métis unreasonable, because they already have the general status, they have OBC status, and they have SC status. Now, if they have ST status again, then would not all the reservations be given to them? Now, that was the reasoning behind the rally. But even as the rally was being held on 3rd May, on the night of 2nd May itself, the Meitei Lipun had already started organizing economic blockades of all the roads that connected the hill districts with the city of Imphal.
Okay.
And on 3rd May as well, the blockade was going on. Now, you can argue about who first started the violence, but then as far as I am concerned, the rally that was held in Tiruchanpur was held in the town. Now, the place where the ethnic conflict, the violence started, was 10 kilometers away from the town. Now, those people who were returning from the rally, 10 kilometers away from the town, the numbers had declined, but the people in the other district, in the valley district, in Bishnupur, who were organizing the blockades, were still there. Now, that forms a very pretty good setting for for an ethnic violence,
Okay. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to take sides as to who initiated the violence to begin with that led to this manifestation of more than 100 people that died. And Tavne, don't you think because of this clash that has been witnessed between two communities in Manipur, there have been several innocent people whose houses have been destroyed, their places of work have been burnt, their vehicles, transport modes, they have been displaced, and they at this point of time are kept in relief camps. Unfortunately for them, being the residents of Manipur, they still don't have homes to go to. Now, who would be held responsible for this?
Ma'am, I would fully hold the state government responsible for everything that is going on right now, and especially the CM, because a problem like this, another minister, Late Pao Hao Kip's house, when it was being burned, it was located just next to just a few meters away from his own house. It's just a phone call away from his house being prevented from getting burned. Hao Kip Wing is located less than 500 meters from the CM's bungalow, and on the second day, on 4th May itself, that the whole locality was burned away. Lamphel, Langol, those tribal localities, Paiteving, these are all localities that are located next to the police stations. If the CM had ordered the police to look after the violence and to prevent the violence from happening, if he had wanted that, he could have prevented that on the first few days itself. But the complacency of the police shows something very clearly that just can't be
but do
denied
you
for him.
think this was also, it was not a rally that was launched it was a rally that was well planned out. It was not as if it was a sporadic rally that had been started out in the beginning of the month. Would you agree to that? There were also stray instances of violence and arson that were witnessed before 1st of May. Now, I remember covering it in my telecast, I think end of April, beginning of May, that there was a sports complex, there was a gym that was to be inaugurated by the Chief Minister, and that was set on fire. And I think there were other few stray instances that led to, I think, perhaps then a more organized rally that was brought forth, and then the violence that was witnessed, where so many people got killed, and there was arson on the streets. So can we really blame one particular community or one party in being part of this this conflict that has arisen and that has led to this arson?
May I come in again?
Yeah.
So I am very clear about my stand. I do not blame the Meitei community wholesale. And that is something that I am very clear when I mention this. I put the blame on the state government because it has facilitated the growth of radicalization of Métis society, which is being furthered by the Arambai Tengol and the Métis Lupun. And if you have noticed, ma'am, the none of like the cookies or insurgent groups that have come to the forefront of every conversation on this issue are have been under suspension of operation since 2008, and their demand has been to work out constitutional autonomy within the constitutional ambit of India. But if you look at the various insurgent groups, the insurgent groups that come from the valley, for example, the PRIPAC, the PLA, and all the other organizations that come under CORCOM, you would see that their intentions have always been to separate from India. And in this aspect, if you look at it, they have never come to constitutional talks with the government. Now, if you look,
But again, getting a
if you do a little
tribal
bit of,
autonomous council, having an autonomous state separate from Manipur, would that be, how do you think that is going to be the resolution to all conflict that is taking place and has taken place for decades together? Keeping in mind there are a lot of issues that were raised by one of the panelists here, Rajat with me, who the illicit poppy cultivation, we're talking about drug mafia, we're talking about insurgency, we're talking about international border problems that are being faced, Myanmar, porous borders, we're talking about the Chinese insurgency, Chinese sending in arms and ammunition into Manipur. So these Manipur being a border state along with Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh is an area that is infested with all these issues. So while we have the internal conflict that is taking place, there are all these other matters that are of, if not more than equal importance to the government of India. And therefore the infrastructure projects, therefore the roads that are being built, the highways that are being built, the airports, hospitals. And I don't know if you could shed more light whether these developmental projects are only focusing on the valley regions or also, because the important regions are the hill regions, because they are the sensitive areas. That's where the border starts. So are there infrastructure projects that are already in place in execution, or would it be pertinent for the government of India and the state government to look into these areas and make them more developed by way of infrastructure, setting up medical institutions, setting up educational institutions, bring jobs, bring employment to the people?
You see, the conversation around China, the conversation around the poppy cultivation, it makes for good optics because it is very easy to put the blame on one community.
No, I'm not putting the blame. I'm saying yes. I'm not blaming it on insurgency that has led to this violence. I'm not. I'm saying this is an internal conflict. This has got nothing to do with insurgency. This has got nothing to do with the China international border, in China insurgency into India. But I'm saying those issues are important to the government as well. And if creation of an autonomous council or a separate state that is going to then divide Manipur further, is that a solution?
Let me get back to what I was saying, because I think you cut me in the middle. I was not saying that you are putting the blame on that, but I am saying that the state-driven narrative from Manipur has been for the past few years, for the past 3-4 years, that the Kuki-Zo community has been the instigators of poppy cultivation, drug lords, drug mafia. However, there has not been proper investigation that the state has conducted that exposes these limits. Rather, on the other hand, Brinda Thongnazam, when she conducted her arrest, she was intercepted by the chief minister himself, and her arrest of the drug lord was put on hold because he was related to the chief minister. So I think if we put a proper investigation on these matters, it would be very important. But rather, the state has been complicit in sensationalizing these issues so that these issues can be
okay. All right, fair enough. A point of view coming in from Tavna. I'm going to quickly get in Gabriela also back into the telecast with me. Gabriela, you've heard it from the rest of the panelists. Understanding from you, what are the key points on which the cookies and the meaties are fighting? Can there be a common ground that can be reached with the government of India now intervening in the matter, and how can that be done so?
Sorry, I was unmuted. Okay. So just to add to all the points that my co-panels have already mentioned, one thing what happens is that when you have a CM who belongs to a particular community, and in this case to the dominant community that the Kuki are against, it's problematic when you have a CM who is not impartial, and we need a government that needs to work for everyone and not just for a particular community. And especially in the past few days, he comes out and blames all of this poppy cultivation, illegal immigrants onto the Kukis, and now onto that he has added another narrative of calling the Kukis terrorists. And the next day, the entire everywhere it just erupted, where everybody started calling the Kukis as terrorists. And this is a problematic when it comes from the CM himself. And unless the CM does something, the state works together in a way to work for everyone in an unbiased manner, I don't think we can find a solution there yet.
Okay. So, what would help the Kuki community to build confidence in the government of Manipur? Are the Kuki community members willing to put their faith in the government of India with the Home Ministry? Do you think that with the Home Minister himself present on the ground in Manipur and visiting these border parts of Manipur, he's gone and visited the Kuki community in More at this point of time. Those are the visuals that are playing out on my screen. Has the intervention of the government of India then instilled some hope and confidence in impartiality being shown when bringing about resolution to the problems?
Like our co-panel Tona had mentioned earlier, that while the Home Minister was in Manipur, there were 2 other villages that were being burned. With that kind of event still taking place when a Home Minister is in the state itself, the confidence building kind of goes into the gutter, and at this point, it's precarious. The precarity of the situation is such that many of the Kukizo community can echo through. You can hear the echo throughout that they are afraid to be back in the valley. Their houses have been burned, their properties have been destroyed, and how do you create this confidence building when people are afraid to come back? And so as far as what Amit Shah being in the state, we will get to know it in the coming days if it's going to be beneficial for the people of Manipur.
But also, Gabriela, don't you think that it has to be dialogue? Now, without dialogue, if you're talking about, there have been 2 villages that have been burnt, or 2 houses in 2 villages that have been burnt, and therefore we would not go about making any conversation with the Home Minister. Do you think that is going to bring about any resolution? Do you think that's the solution to it all? And if not talking to the stakeholders is the solution, is talking to the stakeholders is not the solution? What is the alternative that you are at this point in time giving? Are you saying that Manipur will continue to be in a state of violence and turmoil for the rest of the lives of the people?
We are hoping that the central government will intervene in, taking care of the radical miscreants that are roaming around and taking over, police.
What kind of restitution are you looking at? What kind, if the blame is on the Meeti community, and I'm saying this hypothetically because at this point of time, while there is communication taking place, while these meetings are taking place, a decision is yet to come from the state ministry and a decision is yet to come from the government of India. Now, what is the restitution that the Kuki community is looking for with the 15-day period that the Home Minister has sought to bring about some resolution to the problem? What's the restitution? What is it that you're looking at? What is it that is will bring peace to you, and you will say, okay, fine, if this is done, then we can come forth and hold dialogue with you?
From here on, our people, the Zo and Kuki communities, what we want is a separation from separation from the state. But before that, right now, the immediate
So you're saying
what
you
we
want
need is
Manipur to be divided into two states?
No, to separate administration. But before we can talk about all of that, I think what is more important is the president's rule that needs to be implemented right away. And this is something that we have been asking since day one, like the president's rule to be implemented over and over again. We have been asking, but then nothing has been done about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Major Kongsai, getting you back into the conversation, is President's rule in the state of Manipur going to be a solution? Is the division of Manipur into two states, or at least autonomous councils, is it really going to be a solution? Are we then reflecting upon what has happened with regards to Kashmir, what has happened with regards to Punjab, and is that the replication that we want? Keeping in mind that Kashmir and then Punjab are border states, so is Manipur.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Actually, what options do the Kuki Joe community have? That is the one very good important thoughts that we need to ponder upon. What options do we have? That is the thing, and the options of the president rule will be a very good start for the center to intervene. As I said in my first, sharing of my the first talk, I was mentioning regarding the involvement and to some extent the biased attitude of the states. The person who is trying to solve the problem should be unbiased, number one, and the other thing is it should look unbiased also. So in that way, as of now, the state government under the present leadership of Biren Singh looks unbiased, and he acts unbiased. So in that way, we can't have any hope under his leadership. So it would be a very, very welcome move if the government is, reasonable enough to declare a president rule and take the power of the states away for some time and find a solution towards it. And regarding autonomy, as you rightly mentioned, if the Jammu and Kashmir could be divided into different regions with the UT given to different area.
Okay.
That would be very, very suitable. And as we should be a good neighbor. And till now, if I just want to extend it a little bit, the radicalization at this moment also, seeing the environment, I am supposed to have a deep hatred against the other community. Thank God that I think that type of things doesn't sink in as of now. But the thing is that the seed which are planted is like that the other community and the two communities should hate so much that they should not be in a position to live together. That is the issue.
I'd also like to mention in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, which has been made into a separate state, union territory. It's also interesting to note that the conflict region has always been Jammu and Kashmir.
In that way,
with the minority majority, the majority-minority sort of leanings that have been taking place, and they're just turning in their head. Okay, and also, one more question, sir, before I wrap up this discussion.
Tell me.
Are there actions, are there executions plans that are being rolled out to have development not only in the valley, as you mentioned about, but also in the hill states, the hill regions of Manipur? are there infrastructural projects that are being brought in? Because we keep witnessing that the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, they visit Manipur. There are announcements of multi-crore projects that are being launched over there. Their execution is taking place in several phases. But is development happening in the hill regions of? Are these projects being announced in the hill regions of and the border regions of Manipur? The most important question.
Ma'am, it's negligible. It's very, very negligible. As like a little bit of lasting sort of projects, like a university, sports university, which was quite looked forward to. But it was again placed back to the valley, and there's nothing worth mentioning in the hill. And a number of subdivisions of the hills doesn't have a black top road. That is the condition where we are living in, and no schools and no colleges in the subdivisions level. The district level is still okay. When it comes down to the subdivisions level, most of the subdivisions are still in the monsoon season, you won't be able to reach up to the subdivision level. And even the basic necessities are not there in the subdivisions level, like medicals, schools, and all this electricity, drinking waters. They are still lacking. And as I said once again, regarding autonomy, we are still a part of India, and we look forward to the center to find a reasonable solution. And as you mentioned, the Jammu and Kashmir Leh Ladakh concept seems to be very, very ideal.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm completely out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on this telecast. It has been a refreshing talking to you all and understanding your concerns, your problems. I'm going to, in fact, do this telecast tomorrow and then day after as well, until the time that there is a strong, forthright resolution that is found, that is then acceptable to the Kuki community and to the community of the Métis, and perhaps also get voices from the Métis community and what is it that they resent of the Kuki community, and why is it that this conflict has still not been resolved even after decades that have passed by.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.